Hey everyone, Ginger Soda here. Welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. Today I want to talk about my feelings about the Fallout 76 lore, which in the Fallout community is actually a pretty controversial topic. So part of the reason why it is a controversial topic is the fact that many players and people that are interested in Fallout lore consider Fallout 76 to be a semi-canon entry in the Fallout universe, which has never really been confirmed or denied by Bethesda. Now, as many of you know, Fallout 1 and 2 were not actually Bethesda titles. They were actually Interplay, who initially created the IP of Fallout, which was then later bought by Bethesda, who have then gone on to make Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, and now Fallout 76. Now, with the entry of Fallout 76 into Fallout lore, the primary issue is just how early Fallout 76 takes place after the Great War. Fallout 76 main story takes place in 2102, 25 years after the Great War and the launching of the nukes. Now, what's popping up on the screen right now is where each game takes place timeline-wise. Fallout 1 takes place in 2161, Fallout 2 takes place in 2241, Fallout 3 takes place in 2277, Fallout New Vegas takes place in 2281, Fallout 4, 2287, and as I just was talking about, Fallout 76, 2102. Now, as you can see, besides Fallout 1, every game takes place well over 100 years after the Great War, besides Fallout 1 and Fallout 76. Now, where this creates a bit of issue is when we see the overlap of factions. The first one that we really see, and that we see in every single game, is the Brotherhood of Steel. Now, since the get-go of Fallout 76, the Brotherhood of Steel has been a faction. Even before they showed up in Appalachia with the Brotherhood of Steel DLCs that was released primarily before Wastelanders, they were present, in air quotes, in Appalachia. Now, this is where there is a massive issue in the lore for many people that play Fallout 76 and look at the lore. So what I'm about to read is from the Fallout Wiki, and this is about how the Brotherhood was established in Appalachia. Using surveying satellite connections, Maxon reached out across the continent, broadcasting a request for contact. By chance, Maxon found an old friend in Appalachia, Lieutenant Elizabeth Taggarty of the U.S. Army Rangers. Although initially hesitant to trust him due to the public declaration of secession, she gambled and left the channel open. As Maxis revealed the depth of atrocities perpetrated by the United States government, Taggarty's faith in the system was shaken, then dismantled. Following the winter spent at Camp Venture, she joined Maxon's banner, and that is the end of the entry from the Fallout Wiki. Now, I want to state right now that I understand that previous Fallout entries are, open to being retconned, as we have seen Bethesda do that in the past, but, it really seems like lazy writing, including the Brotherhood of Steel, initially, at least, in Fallout 76. I did like the tie-in with them coming back, in the Steel Rain updates and DLC that came out. But before that, it doesn't really fit the narrative of Fallout 76 for them to be here in Appalachia. Now, Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas all take place on the more towards the west coast, whereas 3, 4, and 76 take place on the east coast. Now, when we see the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, their tie-in is a lot neater, is what I would say. And it makes a lot more sense for them to be there as time went on, for them to venture out more. And especially when we see them arrive in Fallout 4, our understanding is that they're coming from the West Coast as a part of that same banner as the one that supposedly reached out in Fallout 76 to Taggarty. Now, this is a big issue for many people that are interested in the Fallout lore. It really just to me, seems to boil down to really lazy writing and wanting to include a really iconic group in their game. Um, for me personally, it's understandable for the Enclave to be here due to the high status of the White Spring of the White Springs, and only being a few hours north of Washington D.C. But it really seems the Brotherhood of Steel tie-in is really lazy and just wanting to include a popular, iconic group. Now, the next issue that I have with Fallout 76 lore is actually the very recent addition of Expeditions. The reason why it's personally an issue for me is because it doesn't really seem to matter what we do in the pit in 76, because ultimately we know Fallout 3, which takes place over 100 years after the events of Fallout 76, that, everything that we've done in the pit to try and assist them kind of was a waste of time, is how I feel about it. And again, I understand, especially with Bethesda, that retconning lore does happen. There are changes, and sometimes there are things that just happen that fit the story better, at least for the direction Bethesda wants to go. But personally, I don't care. That's really what it boils down to, is that 76 continuously seems to be very lazily written, and the lore isn't really consistent. Maybe it's because Bethesda didn't really care, because it's their MMO. They just kind of wanted to put out an online Fallout, which is definitely a possibility, but I don't think that excuses that the lore doesn't really seem to fit in Fallout 76 with the other games. We have pretty much no mention at all in Fallout 3 of any of the events of Fallout 76, which is understandable due to the fact that Fallout 3 came out many, many years before Fallout 76 was probably even thought about by Bethesda. Now, for me, that just means that instead of going to the pit, we go to locations that haven't been explored in the Fallout universe quite yet, because then Bethesda has free reign over what they can really do with the story. Now, obviously, that's not how everyone feels about it, and that's totally alright. But for me personally, that's what I would have liked to see, as I mentioned in my Expeditions video, that I wish that they had gone to a different location. I feel like there's a lot of many places all throughout the East Coast, if you wanted to keep it nearby to Appalachia, to go to that we've never really gotten to explore at all, versus going back to a previous location that's going to create some issues within the community, specifically focusing around the lore. And again, not everyone cares about lore, but I do feel like in order for a game to be good, especially an RPG that Fallout is, there has to be some form of continuity in the games, that make it, that there's a story worth telling and a story worth learning. And Fallout 76 definitely doesn't do that for me. Yeah. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, there are many people in the Fallout community that consider Fallout 76 a semi-canon entry to the games. As far as Bethesda has confirmed, it is a canon entry. So at this point, that is just fan theory and speculation. Although I do like some fan theories about it, like one that I've seen on Reddit is that maybe the Vault Dweller, the Dweller that we play in 76, is just telling a story that is kind of dramatized to kind of make it seem like a cooler story, although, there's no indication that that is the case. The only real thing that we know is that in future entries, there is not an issue with the Scorched. So we can only hope that at least in Fallout's lore is canon, that we deal with the Scorched issue, and that the inoculation that is part of the primary story of Wastelanders / the initial story of Fallout 76 is that we're able to stop the spread of the Scorched Plague. Although, until we get another entry into the Fallout universe, we're never really going to truly know due to the fact that Fallout 76 is the most recent entry. And all we have is that we do not see them in any of the other games that were potentially created before the idea of Fallout 76 was ever brought up in Bethesda. So that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening to my rants and ramblings about the Fallout 76 lore. If you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.
Everything went to hell while I was asleep.